Hello, everybody. Hi. Oh, no, not that. No, that's not what I'm trying to do. There we go. Hello, everybody. So, if you are watching this, I am recording this as well for my podcast. So, if you are listening back to this or watching this back, whether it's on Spotify or YouTube, available on all good podcast platforms and channels, then welcome. Or if you're watching live with me here on Instagram right now, then lovely to see you. It's always a pleasure to have people in my world. So I'm just going to pivot my little camera situation. So feel like I'm at least facing in the same direction. Okay, there we go. That's better. Okay, cool. Oh, there we go. I feel like I'm looking at one camera now rather than looking at like two. It is awfully weird. Okay, cool. So I'm going to jump straight into this because I'm conscious of time and I'm conscious of the fact that right now there is so much information out there. This time of year there is so much noise and so much to really think about, and I think there's a lot of like societal pressure on where we are, where we think we should be for next year, you know, where we think life is going or not, as the case may be. And so what I really want to share with you tonight is just really my 5 questions to ask yourself, and those 5 questions are really designed to be thought-provoking, designed to get you thinking about, you know, just some different questions, and hopefully they will be different than maybe what you have thought about before, and maybe different in such a good way that it will really prompt me to think something. And then I want to share kind of like my 5 thoughts and the 5 things that I really feel are going to be my guiding light, and the things that I've really learned over 2022 that can really catapult me into 2023. So the first question I always ask yourself, so if you haven't got a pen and paper, I would get a pen and paper, and of course you can listen to this and then do this work back. But as with anything with personal growth, there's no point intellectualizing personal development. There's no point just listening or reading something and then not doing anything with it. Like when it comes to personal growth, when it comes to mindset, it is a work-based thing. Like you have to get into the work. It's not about doing the bits and pieces when we feel like it and expecting real change. Like when it comes to mindset, like the work is doing the work. So the 5 questions to think about are, number 1, this is question number 1. What are 3 things that you are proud of from 2022? What most people do when they look at the following year is they look at what they didn't achieve and they set that as their first goal for next year. So what I want you to do first of all, I want you to think about, what am I proud of? What are 3 things that I'm really proud of myself for doing? Or where did I feel like I was winning? Where did I feel like I was succeeding? Where did I feel like, actually, yeah, go me, I made a really good decision in 2022? That's the first question for you. Okay. The next question is, what 3 things would you like to change for 2023? So we're not judging ourselves. I think what a lot of people do when it comes to this time of year and doing like goal setting is they grade themselves or score themselves, and they're quite harsh with themselves about really who they want to be and what they want for their lives. And actually my strong advice is to actually be really kind to yourself at this time of year. The time to be hard on yourself is the times when life gets sticky and hard in the moment, not after the fact. Because once you're after the fact, once the fact is done, so whether this year you're mad at yourself or harsh on yourself for not achieving your body goals or not going to the gym as much as you should do, whatever it is that you're telling yourself, what are you actually getting from that? Absolutely nothing, right? What you will gain from saying, I'm really proud of these 3 things, and then saying the 3 things I would like to change in 2023 versus scoring yourself against 2022, right? What are the 3 things you would like to change in 2023? Means you give yourself something to be excited about, you give yourself something to be hopeful for. What most people do is berate themselves into setting goals for 2023. And the problem is, when we narrow ourselves into a corner about what goals we think we should do or what we think is the right thing to do, or we set goals because we didn't achieve them in 2022, you've got to fucking ask yourself, like, if I didn't achieve it, if I didn't go for it, if I didn't strive for it, if I didn't want it, if I wasn't excited about the goal in 2022, what is going to make me excited about the goal in 2023? Like, what needs to change? So that's question number 2. So anyone's just jumped on, question number 1 was, what 3 things are you proud of for 2022? And question number 2 is, what 3 things would you like to change for 2023? So I think we've got to get away from quantifiable measures. Like, don't get me wrong, in some of my courses, like in Next Level Life, there is a tiny section where we talk about kind of grading yourselves, but it's really just to be honest. What most people do is berate themselves for what they didn't do and set goals for the next year based on what they didn't do in 2022. You've got to start to look with fresh eyes, and the most powerful way to do that is to ask yourself what you're proud of and then ask yourself what you want to change. So question number 3, and this is, again, it's a feeling question. Like, really, nothing in life is about stuff and things. Nothing in life is about, points on the board, really. It's about how we feel. So my next question is, how did you feel 2022 went? And a great way to give a feeling is to give it a word. So a great way to kind of, what's the word? To basically give it a word. Like, how did 2022 feel to you? Did it feel hard? Did it feel calm? Did it feel challenging? Did it feel healing? Did it feel abundant? Did it feel lack? Did it feel stressful? Like, how did 2022 feel? Like, if you had to put down 2022 in a bracket, in a state of being, in an energetic realm, how would it feel? Like, what would you do? What would you say 2022 was? I would say the way I felt about 2022 was 2022 for me was healing. And that was not intentional. My word for 2022 when I went in for it was elevate. I wanted to absolutely scale on every level. I thought I was ready. And do you know what I really learned? There are 4 phases of manifestation. And 4 stages of personal growth, 4 stages of manifestation, 4 stages of whatever you want to call it, right? And they are clearing, healing, restoring, and then manifesting. And I think what happens so much of the time is we are so quick to want to be the person that manifests that we aren't prepared to do the clearing, the restoring, and the healing. And that is what I spent this year doing, is clearing, restoring, and healing. And that is why towards the end of this year, the manifestations have been tenfold, because I invested in doing that personal growth and development work on myself, right? Oh, love that. So I've had the word exciting for 2022. Love that. It's amazing. So what you really want to ask yourself is, how did 2022 feel? How did it feel to be in 2022? Because what most people do is they skip over it and say things like, oh, that was a bad year, I can't wait to see the end of it. Or that was a great year, bring on another one. And what we do is we don't really actually get honest with ourselves about what thrived and what didn't. And look, like I said, this is not about getting into the nitty gritty and punishing and berating ourselves. Like, that's just not a vibe that I'm about. Just moving my microphone. Oh, there we go. But what this is about for me is about really being honest about how you felt, what you were proud of, and what you want to change. So that's question number 1, 2, and 3. Question number 4 is, how would you like to feel in 2023? Like, if you could feel anything in 2023, how would you want to feel? If you could feel anything in 2023, how do you want to feel? Do you know what I want to feel? I want to feel calm. I don't want to worry. I don't want to overthink. I don't want to stress. And I know that from a calm place that I will elevate massively. Now, my word for 2023 is legacy, right? And that's a big word. It's a big word, big claim, big goal, big vision. But I really believe that I'm about to have what I call a legacy year, a year where I really create long-lasting change that has a memorable impact, not just in my own life, but in the lives of other people. Obviously, I'm getting married next year as well, which falls well into that, which is funny. But how do you want 2023 to go? Most people will say things like fun or money, or they'll give some kind of like loose term, but they don't really think about how they want to feel. Like, most people say things like, I want to feel certain, or I want to feel sure. And here's the greatest truth about life: you will never be certain. The happiest people in the world are okay with uncertainty, right? But the way that you become okay with uncertainty is because you're so sure of yourself. And that's what personal growth does. That's what mindset work does. That's what investing in growing yourself as a person does. That's what who you become is about, right? So that was question number 4, is how would you like to feel in 2023? And hopefully these are really thought-provoking questions. And the final question, which is kind of 2 parts. The first part is, who were you in 2022? Who were you? So you might write down, I was a really stressed mom who struggled to pay the bills and was always tired. You might write down, I was a new business owner that was excited but not really making much headway. You might write down, I was a recently promoted corporate manager that was actually really happy but was looking for love, right? I just want you to give yourself a sentence that if you had to describe yourself in 1 sentence, who were you in 2022? Okay, I'm going to drink some water while you answer that question. Okay. And who do you need to be in 2023? Now, that need is self-created, right? That need is not from me. I'm not telling you need to be anybody. I'm saying to have the things and do the things that I know are on your heart, that are desires that you feel called to do, who do you need to be in 2023? Who do you need to be? Okay. So the reason for those questions is because I want you to start to think in a next level way. I want you to start to think about who you need to become. And there are 5 thoughts that I'm going to share with you tonight that hopefully are going to resonate on some level. So the first one, and this is really, applies to everything we just talked about, is you will always get what you're available for. You will always, 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 always get what you are available for. Now, what you're available for means energetically, practically, spiritually, emotionally, you will get what you're available for, whether it comes to money, in relationships, in business, in your body, you will get what you are available for. And that is determined by who you are as a person, what you believe to be true, how you act, your habits, your rituals, your routines. You are a self-fulfilling prophecy. We always will be. So if you believe that you are a stressed, burnt-out mum who never earns enough money, well, that's exactly what you're going to get more of in 2023, right? Because that's who you believe that you are. Your identity creates the stories that you tell yourself in your head. Those stories become beliefs. Those beliefs leads to your daily thoughts. Your thoughts create your daily actions, and that creates your daily results. What most people believe is that life is happening on the outside and that that's affecting how they feel on the inside. But the truth is that as much as we can react to scenarios and situations, our life on the outside is a direct representation of everything we believe to be true and everything that we are available for. So if you want to create anything different in 2023, you've got to change what you're available for. And this comes down to changing what you believe to be true, what you know to be true, changing your self-standards, changing what you believe is possible for you. And that comes from doing that deep dive personal development and intensive mindset work. It comes from transforming the way that you think, to transform the way that you feel, to transform what you believe, and in turn transform your results. And that is how you transform what you are available for. You can't just make a decision and decide you're available for something else, because your beliefs, your stories, the narratives, whether it's a limiting belief, which are quite like negative and just flat, like I will never be thin, versus a conditional belief, which would be I'll only be thin if I drop carbohydrates, right? Both those types of beliefs are like bungee cords. And you will only get so far before it will pull you right back. And that's why willpower feels so difficult, right? When we're trying to achieve something in life and we're playing the willpower game, what you're actually playing is a bungee cord game. Because if you haven't changed the beliefs and the stories about who you are, what you believe is possible for you, what you think is available for you in life, that you can try and achieve something. But ultimately, until you change who you are and the stories and the narratives you have about who you think you are and what is possible for you, you will always get snapped right back with those bungee cords. So that's point 1. You will always get what you're available for. And this really leads into point 2. Point 2 is you will get what you are programmed for. Like, the truth is that we think 60 to 70,000 thoughts in a day. I mean, can you even cope with that number? And 95% of those thoughts are the same as the day before. So you have 95% subconscious and you have 5% conscious mind. So what happens is most of the time we are living life on autopilot. Now, most of you know this because you know how to drive a car, you know how to tie your shoelaces, you do things without even knowing that you're doing them, especially if you're a mum and have kids. You guys are like machines, right? And the problem is 95% of what you do is a stored program in your mind, which means you're not aware of it. You're not even conscious of it. We've all done it where we've driven somewhere and gone, oh my God, how did I get here, right? And that the challenge is you will get what you're programmed for. So if you are programmed for wealth, abundance, success, growth, happiness, love, fulfillment, truth, fit and healthy food, whatever it is, that is what you will get. If you are programmed for lack, stress, strife, struggle, tiredness, exhaustion, that is what you will get. Because your body is basically your mind. Your body runs the show. The 95% subconscious mind, which is like the filing system or the storage, that basically is the operating system. That's your Microsoft, that's your Apple, that's what's running the show. And so you can choose to make decisions from that 5% conscious mind, but ultimately what you're doing is fighting 5% against 95%. And that is why, much like the bungee cord analogy I've just used, you can use that 5% to try and drive yourself forward into 2023. But unless you're working to reprogram that 95% of thoughts, beliefs, habits, behaviors, rituals, stories, narratives, then you are just going to find yourself in the exact same situation and maybe with that marginal gain forward. And so the first step really to changing your program is awareness. And that's where an audit comes in, right? Awareness is the first step. It's called metacognition, where you basically recognize your habits, you recognize your stories, you recognize your beliefs, you recognize those narratives. And by recognizing them, that's the first thing you do, is to bring them in front of you and go, oh my God, this is what needs to change. And when we're able to see change, we're able to start making it. Point number 3, You get what you are willing to work for. Now, that is not about effort, strive, struggle, and sacrifice. I do not believe sacrifice is required. I believe it's not either or, it's and. I believe we can have it all. I just believe that life is about intention, it's about focus, and it's about desires. Now, the problem is that most people will have things they want, they'll have things they desire. But the problem is, because that programming is running the show, that 95% programming that's telling them their desires are not possible for them, their desires aren't possible for them in this lifetime even, what happens is we lose the desire. Because if you said, I really want to retrain as a personal trainer, I really want to retrain as a person, a therapist, I really want to retrain, whatever it is. And then your brain goes, oh my God, but no, you need a job. You're terrible with money. You could never be self-employed. You're lazy. You procrastinate. What do you think is happening, right? That desire is being eaten away at. And this is why people are unfulfilled and miserable, because what happens is the programming about who they believe they are eats away at the desires they have. Now, what I mean when I say that you get what you work for is you get what you're willing to desire. Like, the two ways that you ever create change in life that I only work with these people is people who have a deep desire to change, or people that believe they will be successful. Because those two types of people, the people who have the belief system and the programming, will run like their asses on fire towards anything. And the people that have a great desire for change can overwrite the programming, because that desire brings the programming in front of them to go, oh yeah, that's bullshit. Oh yeah, that's bullshit. Right. What do I need to do? But what happens so much of the time is that people want things, they desire things, and then what happens is the programming kicks in. So you've got to have a big desire for change if you actually want 2023 to look any different. Okay, point number 4, magic versus logic. If you want life to be logical, you have come to the wrong girl, right? If you want life to be lots of linear steps in an upward trajectory of nice and ease, practical things you need to do every day with a guaranteed result, then you are in the wrong place, my friends. Following the wrong person on Instagram, listen to the wrong podcast, you are in the wrong place, right? There is nothing about anything that I have achieved that was logical. There are things about everything I've achieved and what I teach that are hugely practical, that make a lot of sense, that are sustainable, that create long-term change. Like, that's the whole point of the courses, right? But what they are not is logical. What I am going to tell you is that nothing fucking fantastic comes from focused on logic. Everything amazing comes from being focused on magic. And this comes back down to point 2, you get what we're available for. If you are only available for the next little step, you will only ever get the next little step. People say to me all the time, I want to make a U-turn, I want to transform my life, I want a quantum leap. They use all these big words, but what they fail to understand is that everything on the outside of their life, like we talked about, everything that we want to happen that's big, that's great, that's massive, is the result of a rapid leap in understanding, in growth, in passion, in knowledge, in certainty, and in our state of being. And that comes from personal growth, development, and mindset work. It comes from healing, it comes from dealing, it comes from restoring, it comes from clearing. And then that allows us to step into the magic of manifestation, because we are fully clear. Now, if you're not a big believer in the law of attraction, that's absolutely fine. I wouldn't say I'm a particularly woo-woo teacher, but what I will tell you is this. Everything in the universe is energy. Everything is a vibrating molecule. And when you are in a low vibe state, a lack state, a fear state, a negative state, that is a low vibration. When you are in a positive, high energy, certainty, confident belief state, that is a high vibration. Now, both vibrations attract things on an ongoing basis. You are always attracting, you are always manifesting. You don't just sit down to manifest and go, right, I'm manifesting right now. You are always manifesting. The question is, are you manifesting with intention? Are you manifesting with focus? Are you manifesting with clarity? Now, I've talked about this before, and I'm going to run through them really quick. The 5 steps to manifestation that I teach personally in my courses are: number 1, decide what you want. What's that desire? Number 2, do the work to believe you can have it. So that belief work is huge, right? That belief work is clearing all that noise, clearing all those stories, clearing all those thoughts and beliefs. 3, take inspired action. Inspired action is not grinding up a hill, doing things that you freaking hate. Inspired action is trusting the nudges, being open to the magic, being willing to listen, being open-minded about the result, and ultimately being willing to keep going. Step number 4 is make space. So many people say they want more money, but they're so narrow focused on what they currently have and what's not possible for them. There's no space for that extra money to come. So many people say they want more clients in their business, but their diary's already rammed full because they're chaotic and unorganized. Where exactly are these new clients going to go? And step 5 is trust the process. And what trust the process really means is that you trust that everything that you're doing is enough, that you trust in the law of vibration, the law of attraction, that you trust that you are worthy. And the only reason that people's manifestations do not come to fruition, and whatever that means, creation, manifestation, whatever that means to you, is truly because they haven't done one of those steps clearly. They weren't really clear about what they wanted. They didn't really believe they could have it because they didn't really do the work to go through that mindset stuff. They didn't make space for it, and they didn't take inspired action. And so magic is available to all of us, but it requires that we do the inner work. And point 5, finally, just something I want to share with you is it's who we become, not what we do. So many people will set goals moving into 2023 that are focused on action, that are focused on, right, well, I want to lose 10 pounds. I'm going to go to the gym 5 times a week, and I'm going to eat 1,500 calories and do this, this, and this. And what people fail to recognize, and the reason I'm saying it so brutally is because this is who I am, right? I'm a no nonsense, ballsy, no bullshit mentor. That is my vibe. It's not about what we do, it's who we become. If you can do all those things, so you can be the person who goes to the gym 5 days a week, you can push that willpower button, you can stretch those bungee cords belief all the way for the 3 months that you do it, and you get to your goal. But if at the point that you would get to your goal, you still identify as a person who eats takeaways on a Saturday, who drinks every night of the week, and who doesn't particularly like vegetables or really like the gym, you're not going to remain at your goal. Your identity, who you think you are, the beliefs and stories that you have, leads to your actions, that leads to your results. Now, if you can actually transform who you believe you are at the same time as taking action, right? That, my friends, is a quantum leap. That is where you collapse time. Because when you step into the next version of yourself, that next level version of who you want to be, by changing the thoughts, the behaviors, the mindset, the conditioning, and taking the action, what happens is you speed up the result massively. Now, the way that we do this is getting to know you, getting to know the next level version of yourself. And this is the work. This is the work that I have been doing since well before, but since I left my corporate job, I have been doing this work for 6.5 years. I've been teaching this work for 6.5 years. This course that I am opening on the 1st of January, Next Level Life, has evolved from a 6-week course to an 8-week course to a 12-week course. And I've actually just thrown in a 13th module all about manifestation and embodiment because I'm so passionate about it, right? This course is that. This is getting to know you. This is going through every single part of what you need to do to transform your life to the next level. It's about auditing your mindset. That's what module 1 is all about. It's getting into the mindset, the habits and the behaviors of where you are, and getting really freaking honest and really aware. Module 2 is then about clarifying, like, what do I actually value in life? What's most important to me? Because I think that gets jumbled up all the time. And we're going to dig into a little bit about what motivates you. Module 3 is all about those beliefs, those bungee cords that I talked about, that will always pull you back from the things that you desire unless you are willing to do the work to transform them. Module 4 is all about well-being. It's about lifestyle. It's about food. A lot of people have a relationship with food that feels confused or it feels disordered. And I was that person for a long time. But what I've learned to understand about my relationship with food is it was nothing to do with the food and everything to do with the way that food was making me feel. I was avoiding things that I was thinking about. I was avoiding stories that I was telling myself, and I was self-soothing through food. Module 5 is all about perspective and perception. So much of the time, we see the world through such a narrow lens, and that's the reason that life isn't changing for us. If we can open our perspective, we can open our view and release a little bit of that ego, what we often find is that our life can transform. Module 6, we dig a little bit into personality types just because it's fun and really think about the relationships you have in your life. So much of the time, we believe we can change in an isolated environment. And what I will tell you is the relationships and the people you surround yourself with can be absolutely transformative or they can be destructive. And by digging into these relationships, you've got the tools and the resources to be able to transform and change them and help the people around you do that too. Module 7 is 1,000,000% one of my favorite modules. All I've been talking about for the last couple of months is money, abundance, and energy. And I've just talked about that. I've re-recorded an extra module. So module 7 is now a double module, all about wealth building, money building, how you can change your money mindset and how you can transform your financial reality. Module 8 is all about your business or what it is you do for work and how to take that to the next level, where you felt you've got stuck and how to upskill. Module 9 is about building the vision and how to really take that final 5th step of manifestation into trusting the process. Module 10, this is where we get into the nitty gritty. This is the detail, the planning, accountability. We talk about something called your upper limit, which is a really interesting concept, but really falls under what I was saying in point 1, which is you get what you are available for. Now, module 11 is one of my favorites. It's all about procrastination, time management, inverted commas, and creating that intention and focus. And as someone who's been recently diagnosed with ADHD, I can tell you that I have created an incredible life in spite of those stories, in spite of the fact that I've known this for a long time, because of the skills, the tools that I have used to create the life that I have. Module 12 is all about progress and discipline and what those two things really mean for me. But module 13, and this is the new one that's been launched in 2023, brand freaking new, is all about manifestation and embodying the next level version of yourself. And it's got to be my favorite. Now, the best thing about this, guys, is that for this course, I actually, for the first year, I haven't done this for 2 years, is I'm bringing back the one-to-one coaching calls with the course. So if you use a payment plan, if you sign up on the 6-month payment plan that's available for this course, you get 2 one-to-one coaching calls with me at week 6 and 12. And if you sign up on a pay in full, so you pay in full for the course up front, then you're going to get 6 calls with me bi-weekly as you go through that 12-week course. So for me, this course is basically everything. It's been an evolution of my journey in business. Every lesson I have has been poured into this course. All the testimonials from clients, all the stories from my clients, and the lessons I've learned from coaching them has been poured into this incredible 12-week course that opens on the 1st of January. So enrollment is open from the 1st to the 11th of January, and then it's closed. And this master course, this is my master course, is only open once a year. The mini courses and mini bundles are available all the time, but this master course encapsulates so much more. All the skills, all the knowledge, all the resources only available once a year. So if you want to find out more, go to lucysuperfox.com/NLL or lucysuperfox.com/courses to find out a little bit more, to dig deep, to join that waitlist. And if you're watching this after the first, which you very well might be, then make sure to jump on over and get yourself enrolled, because everything I've been through tonight, like I said, if you want to change your reality, you've got to change what you're available for. You've got to change what you're programmed for. You've got to change your desires and think about how to create those desires and bring them to life. You've got to be a little bit more open to that magic. And more than anything, you've got to be focused on who you become. Everything in our outer life is a direct representation of what we truly believe on the inside. And as I've said, year on year for the last 6 years, you will never make a long-lasting physical transformation in any area of life, whether it's body, business, relationships, or money, until you are truly willing to make an emotional, spiritual, and mental one. So I hope that 2023 is next level for you, whether you decide to jump in with me in this master course, whether you decide to binge listen to all of my podcasts, sign yourself up to my emails, to my weekly newsletters, or just continue to be a great follower on the social media, then I am grateful for you. I am wishing you that you are always in pursuit of a next level life, and I look forward to seeing you all soon.